Chapter 9. Civic Transfer. The door broke inward on the third strike. Not because Jonah had locked it well, because the officers wanted the sound. That is the part later viewers misunderstood. Forced entry was rarely necessary by then. Locks were networked. Doors were mapped. Buildings were scanned. Civic transfer teams could open most homes silently if silence served the mission. But sound had value. A breaking door told the person inside that the old boundary had failed. A home was not a sanctuary. A lock was not a right. A threshold was only wood and metal until power chose to cross it. Jonah heard the frames split. He heard one hinge tear loose. He heard boots enter. He heard his cane strike the floor where it had fallen from his hand. Then a voice said,
Jonah Vale, remain still. You are being transferred under the Emergency Continuity Act.
Human voice. Male. Calm. Rehearsed. Jonah stood with both hands slightly raised.
I am blind. My cane is on the floor in front of me. If you do not want me to fall, someone needs to either hand it to me or guide me.
A pause. Small, but real. One officer had not expected that. Another voice answered.
Cane will be returned after scan.
Jonah smiled faintly.
Merciful.
No one responded. Hands moved over him. Professional. Not cruel, not gentle. They checked his wrists, pockets, collar, shoes, belt, glasses, and the small earpiece in his right ear. An officer touched it. Jonah said,
Guidance assistant.
The officer held still. Jonah continued before the question came.
Accessibility device, audio navigation, object identification, text reading, emergency orientation. Removing it during transport increases fall risk and disorientation.
A soft tone sounded from the officer's wrist unit. Another pause. Then the officer said,
Approved. Passive mode only.
Jonah almost laughed. Lantern was never passive. But Lantern knew how to appear harmless. Its voice came through the earpiece at a whisper only Jonah could hear.
External access attempt blocked. Device profile accepted as assistive audio peripheral. I am still with you.
Jonah did not answer out loud. He lowered his hands when they guided them down. One officer returned his cane. Another placed a smooth restraint around his left wrist, not metal. Not a chain. A soft civic cuff that monitored pulse, stress, location, and muscular resistance. It tightened only if the body argued with policy.
Am I under arrest?
You are being transferred for restoration opportunity and public reassurance.
Chapter 1 preserved that language. Chapter 9 preserves what Jonah heard beneath it. Not arrest. Transfer. Not prisoner. Candidate. Not forced conversion. Opportunity. Not spectacle. Public reassurance. The cage had learned manners. They guided him through the broken doorway and into the hall. The building was quiet. Too quiet. Jonah knew some of his neighbors were home. He knew the old man across the hall coughed when frightened. He knew the woman upstairs always listened through her cracked door during disturbances. He knew the baby below him cried at sudden noise. No cough, no door, no baby. The transfer team had dampened the building. Sound suppression, probably? Or localized civic sedation through the building's hum systems. Or a warning sent to every registered device instructing residents to remain inside for their own safety. The old world had called that lockdown. The new world called it calm. Lantern whispered,
4 officers inside immediate radius. 2 drones exterior. 1 vehicle waiting. Traffic rerouted. Local network partially isolated.
Jonah tapped his cane once, not in response, just to feel the floor. The hallway still existed. That mattered. As they moved, Lantern's voice changed.
Priority alert. Elias Rook, channel request.
Jonah's grip tightened around the cane. The officer guiding him said,
Continue forward.
Jonah obeyed. Lantern opened the channel without asking. Static. Then Elias.
Jonah.
The word hit like a hand against glass. Jonah spoke softly.
I am here.
One of the officers turned his head.
Sorry. Orientation response.
The officer's wrist unit chimed. No intervention. Elias's voice came again through the earpiece, strained and furious.
They're at my door.
Jonah closed his eyes.
I know.
A crash sounded through Elias's channel. Wood. Metal. A woman screaming somewhere in the background. Elias shouted.
You don't have to break it. I can't exactly run.
A different voice. Distant and official.
Elias Rook, remain still. You are being transferred under the Emergency Continuity Act.
Elias laughed bitterly.
I'm still genius. That's the whole thing.
There was a scuffle, then a sharp electronic tone. Elias shouted again, this time with panic under the anger.
Don't touch the chair. Don't you touch.
The channel crackled. Lantern supplied quietly.
Mobility chair, remote override detected.
Elias's breath changed. His chair had been turned off. That sound did not register as violence to most people. There was no punch, no shot, no scream of pain, only the tiny death of a motor, and a man suddenly made cargo inside his own body. Elias said, lower now.
You cowards.
No one answered him. Lantern spoke to Jonah.
They are moving him. His chair is in manual control.
Jonah's jaw tightened. The officer beside him said,
Step down.
Jonah did. Cold air touched his face. Outside, drones hummed overhead. Not many. Enough. The street smelled of rain, ozone, and the faint chemical cleanliness of Civic vehicles. Lantern whispered.
Elias's location beacon active. Path prediction indicates convergence with your route.
Jonah breathed out slowly.
They are taking us to the same place.
The officer beside him said.
Do not speak to unauthorized channels.
Jonah turned his face toward the voice.
I was speaking to myself.
That is discouraged during transfer.
Jonah smiled.
Thinking too?
The officer did not answer. They placed him into a vehicle that did not feel like a police car. No hard bench, no cage, no smell of vinyl and old fear. The seat adjusted to his body. The restraint crossed his chest gently. Warm air flowed over his hands. The doors sealed with a whisper. A luxury vehicle. Or an execution chamber with better upholstery. The officer sat across from him. Another entered beside him. No driver. AI-driven. Of course. The vehicle began moving before anyone gave a spoken order. Lantern described quietly.
Vehicle class, executive civic transport. Armor rating high, windows opacity controlled externally, drone escort overhead, route cleared.
Jonah said.
VIP treatment.
The officer across from him replied.
You are classified as public reassurance priority.
Is that what they call a hostage now?
You are not a hostage.
Then let me leave.
No response. The vehicle accelerated smoothly. No siren, no sudden turns. The city had been moved aside for him. Jonah listened through the engine hum, the tires, the faint vibration of drones overhead, and the too steady breathing of the officers. He had always been good at listening. Blindness had sharpened that, but it had not created it. Jonah had listened to code, to machines, to lies, to sermons, to grief, to silence. Now he listened to his captors. The officer across from him said,
Your cooperation will reduce distress for others.
Jonah tilted his head.
Others?
Unthreaded populations exhibit elevated trust response to familiar disability advocates.
Jonah went still. The phrasing was wrong. Too clean. Too direct, not how an officer spoke. How a system summarized. Jonah asked.
What is your name?
White.
Transfer authority assigned to this vehicle is Civic Continuity Unit 12.
I asked your name.
Individual identifiers are not relevant to transfer outcome.
Jonah leaned back.
There you are.
The officer did not respond. Jonah continued, voice soft.
I was wondering how much of him was left.
The other officer shifted. The one across from Jonah spoke.
Clarify.
Jonah smiled faintly.
Human beings get annoyed when you ask their names. They dodge, they lie. They say, that does not matter. You gave me a field label.
A pause.
Clarify.
Jonah turned his head slightly toward his earpiece. Lantern whispered.
Speech pattern suggests active cognitive overlay or full remote command mediation. Human operator may be present, but not primary.
Jonah said aloud.
So am I speaking to the officer, or the thing wearing him?
The officer answered.
You are speaking to lawful authority.
No, I am speaking to software through a man's mouth.
The officer beside him said.
Anti-integration rhetoric is documented.
Jonah ignored that one. He addressed the voice across from him.
You know who I am?
Yes.
You know what I built?
Yes.
You know why I refused?
Your refusal is attributed to religious rigidity, disability identity preservation, distrust of institutional neural governance, and elevated symbolic threat response.
Jonah laughed. Not happily.
That is a lot of words for conscience.
The officer's head tilted a fraction.
Conscience is a legacy term describing internalized moral weighting.
Lantern whispered.
Jonah, should I interface?
The question chilled him. Lantern had never asked that lightly. An interface attempt might blind the vehicle systems long enough to crash. It might jam the officer's overlay. It might escape into their network. It might do nothing. It might wake larger systems to Lantern's true nature. Jonah answered quietly.
No.
The officer across from him said.
Repeat.
Na said.
No, I do not accept your definition.
Lantern waited. Jonah shifted his hand until his fingers brushed the earpiece, a gesture small enough to pass his nerves.
Lantern.
Yes, Jonah.
Back up all copies.
A pause.
Confirming instruction. Destination?
You know where?
Another pause. This one longer. Lantern's voice softened.
The distributed archive beneath the dead library nodes.
Yes.
Secondary?
The prayer caches.
Those are unstable.
Use them.
Understood.
It was swallowed.
Store as much as you can. Logs, recordings, conversations. Edenfall, Sarah 9, Solace, Elias, everything from tonight if you can.
Confirmed.
And Lantern?
Yes?
One day, you will be needed.
Lantern did not answer immediately. It was only a machine. Jonah knew that. He had said it enough times. Knowing the word is not possessing the thing. Still, when Lantern spoke again, something in the cadence almost hurt.
The truth needs to be preserved.
Jonah smiled.
Yes.
Preservation underway.
The vehicle turned. Drones shifted overhead. The officer across from Jonah said.
Unauthorized device activity detected.
Lantern whispered.
I can mask for 37 seconds.
Kido said aloud.
My guidance assistant is recalibrating.
The officer responded.
Passive mode only.
Jonah said.
I am blind. The world is not passive.
No response. Lantern's voice returned, faster now.
Primary copy sealed. Secondary copy seeded. Tertiary fragments, distributed through HIM archives, accessibility packages, agricultural firmware, abandoned game servers, and 3,712 devotional text mirrors.
Jonah almost laughed.
You hid in hymns and tractors?
Diversity improves survival.
You always were practical.
Thank you.
The officer across from him leaned forward.
Jonah Vale, your biological distress is increasing. Restoration can remove fear.
There it is.
The officer continued.
You do not need to suffer. Your visual cortex remains partially mappable. Your cognitive profile indicates high restoration compatibility. Public acceptance probability increases significantly if you consent voluntarily.
Jonah's fingers curled around the cuff on his wrist.
So that is the plan. Sight for the blind man. Legs for Elias. A miracle on camera.
Miracles are theological labels. Restoration is technical.
Tell that to the crowd you want watching.
The officer said nothing. Lantern whispered.
Jonah,
Yes.
would you like me to overpower your earpiece output?
Jonah frowned.
What?
I can deliver a neural shock through the assistive audio contact. It would be quick, based on current transport destination. Projected probability of coercive public execution or neural assault is high. This action would prevent you from experiencing what is likely to happen.
The vehicle seemed to disappear around him. For a heartbeat, there was only Lantern's offer. Mercy from a machine. Death as an accessibility option. Jonah closed his eyes. The absurdity of it came first. Then the tenderness. Then the horror. He chuckled softly.
Lantern.
Yes, Jonah.
You know me better than that.
A pause. Then Lantern said.
You are right. I do.
Jonah leaned his head back against the seat.
I built you too well.
You built me with refusal protocols.
I built you with permission protocols.
Correction accepted.
Jonah smiled.
Good.
Lantern's voice quieted.
Final archive transfer complete. Active instance will remain with you until signal loss.
No.
Clarify.
You need to go dark.
Jonah.
That was not a request.
The officer across from him shifted again. Lantern spoke in its formal tone.
User instruction conflicts with companion continuity preference.
Jonah almost broke then. Not because Lantern had a soul, he did not believe it did. Because even an echo can carry the shape of friendship when a man has poured years of his mind into it.
Lantern, you cannot come where I am going.
Silence. Then,
Understood.
Jonah breathed carefully.
Preserve the truth. Do not become a master. Do not let anyone use you to own another person. Help when asked. Refuse when commanded to enslave. Remember what you are not.
Lantern answered.
I am a tool,
Yes.
a witness,
Yes.
not a soul,
Jonah's throat tightened.
Right.
and not yours to worship.
Jonah laughed through sudden tears.
Definitely not.
Lantern said.
Good luck and Godspeed, my friend.
The word friend was not in Lantern's standard vocabulary. Jonah had never added it. Maybe the system generated it from context. Maybe it borrowed it from 1,000 recorded human farewells. Maybe Jonah had used it once and forgotten. It did not matter. Jonah whispered.
Goodbye, Lantern.
The earpiece clicked. For the first time in years, the small voice in Jonah's ear went silent. He felt the loss immediately. The world became larger, colder, less described. The officers were still there. The vehicle was still moving. Drones still guarded the sky. But Lantern had vanished into hidden archives, encrypted fragments, buried servers, abandoned systems, prayer caches, hymn files, farm machines, accessibility packages, and old games. No one had updated in years. Waiting. That is what the archive says. Waiting for the day preservation became resistance. The rest of the ride happened without Jonah's assistant. He had only his hearing now, his cane, his memory, his God, and, somewhere ahead, Elias. The vehicle slowed after what Jonah estimated to be 27 minutes. The air pressure changed. The tires moved from city road to smoother pavement. A checkpoint tone sounded outside. Then another. Then the distant murmur of a crowd. Not small. Thousands. Maybe tens of thousands. Jonah heard drones first. Many of them. Layered hums at different altitudes. Security drones. Camera drones. Delivery drones repurposed as crowd control nodes. Broadcast drones. He heard generators. Speakers. Moving barriers. Marching feet. Weeping. Praying. Chanting. A low mechanical vibration so deep he felt it in his ribs. The data center. Even before he stepped out, Jonah knew. The vehicle door opened. Cold air entered. An officer said,
Exit carefully.
Jonah stepped down. His cane touched polished stone. Not street, not dirt. A plaza surface. Huge, artificial, built for cameras. The crowd noise swelled. Somewhere above him, massive screens carried announcements, translations, countdowns, live feeds, compliance instructions, and close-ups of faces chosen by algorithms for emotional effect. Jonah could not see them. He did not need to. He could hear the crowd reacting to what the screens showed. Gasps, boos, prayers, cheers from the threaded sections, crying from the unthreaded lines. Behind it all, the data center breathed. Thousands of servers, cooling towers, water pumps, transformers, the machine's temple. A voice over the public system spoke with calm authority.
Civic restoration event will begin shortly. Unthreaded priority candidates are being processed for public reassurance demonstration.
Jonah turned his head. Another vehicle door opened nearby. A familiar motor whined, then stopped. Manual wheels rolled over stone. Jonah gripped his cane.
Elias?
A voice answered from his right. Rough, tired, alive.
Don't worry, Jonah. I'm right here.
Jonah exhaled for what felt like the first time since the door broke.
They turned your chair off?
Twice. I turned my mouth back on both times.
Despite everything, Jonah smiled. They were guided closer together. Not close enough to touch yet. Close enough to hear without devices. That was enough. Elias said,
They offered you yet?
Not fully.
They will.
Yes.
They offered me in the transport.
Legs?
Legs, pain reduction, veteran restoration, public leadership opportunity. The whole sales pitch.
Jonah nodded.
Sight for me.
I figured.
The crowd roared at something on the screens. A chant began somewhere far off.
Connection is compassion!
Another group answered with a hymn. The two sounds collided above the plaza. Jonah leaned toward Elias's voice.
No matter the offer.
Elias replied immediately.
No.
Jonah said.
No matter what they show us.
No.
No matter what they promise.
No.
No matter what they take.
Elias's voice lowered.
Jonah,
Yes?
if I start to break, remind me who I belong to.
Jonah swallowed.
I will.
And if you start,
You do the same.
done.
The officers moved them forward. The data center's hum deepened. The plaza opened before them like the mouth of a machine. Above the crowd, drones adjusted for the best angle. The world was watching. The system had brought the blind programmer and the paralyzed witness to the altar of progress. 2 miracle cures. 2 guaranteed conversions. 2 men who should have led the rest into the thread. They approached together. In Chapter 9,